Man coverage hasn't been this good in Madden since Madden 23, so if you can't beat it, you're going to have a really long year. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down 5 secret tips that only the top 1% of players have mastered that allow them to beat man coverage every single game. You're not going to want to miss out on any of the tips and tricks I'm breaking down today, or it could be the reason you're still getting locked down by man coverage. So let's jump right into it. First, I want to show you the glitchiest route to be able to beat man coverage that's going to make it super easy to have big gains. Let me show you. Alright, so this play is halfback motion dig spot. Alright, and so really what we're going to do here with this play is this is the route concept. You're going to put A on a post, you're going to stem the post down, you're going to put B on an out route, and if you wanted to, you could leave your running back on this motion like zig route, or you could just block him. But you know, if you feel like you have good protection sending 5 out, then you could just end up doing that. But it's also like, you know, that could leave you more susceptible to getting blitzed, especially when you're playing against pressed man, because when you're playing against man coverage, press man, off man, you need your receivers to get open on time, and just this bump right here and Jamar Chase getting jammed by a weaker corner throws off the entire timing of the play. So it's like, that's why you want to make sure that, you know, if you can control it, you would just block your running back. But again, put the tight end on a post, stem it all the way down, put T. Higgins here on an out route. We're going to take the snap and read it. If T. Higgins creates enough separation, we throw that. If not, we wait for our corner route to Jamar Chase to get open. But the reason why I say this is a glitch play is because this corner route to Jamar Chase runs flatter. So it's a sharper corner route that cuts sooner and is going to create more separation. So we're going to see it right here. He's going to absolutely cook that guy again, and so we're going to have that open. So that's, again, the thing about man coverage is like, yeah, you got to get receivers open in a hurry because the pass rush is really good in this game, and that's part of the reason why man coverage is so good. But here we go. We have plenty of time. We're going to be able to find Jamar Chase there on the side with that corner out. Not to say that he's always going to get open, and there are other ways to make this route even better, like we're going to talk about later in the video, so make sure you stick around. But this is one of the premier safeties in this game, and yet we're still able to just cook him at the top of this route because this is a route that already is good on its own. It's one of the best routes in the game. If I were to put him on a regular corner route, if you just look at the play art, it just looks different. And so, not to say that he could never get open on this, but he's just not going to get open as often because regular corner routes aren't as good. Like, you see how this time Minka's just able to run that route for him, stay in his hip, and he creates no separation, even though he's the best receiver in the game. But when you have a regular corner, when you don't have a regular corner, you have this sharp, unique corner route that's found exclusively in this play and some others, but it's a very rare corner route to see. You're just going to see how one-on-one, like he's never going to be able to keep up with him unless he's like an elite corner himself. But I really love this route to be able to build the entire route concept around because he's just going to get open. I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter the receiver that you have here. Obviously, having Jamar Chase is going to help you. But it's like also this speed out to T. Higgins can get open if you feel like you don't have time. But it's also like you need your running back to actually see that linebacker looping through and block. But then it's also like the backside digs open. The tight end post can get open in the middle. Like you see how these guys just bump into each other and we have that tight end open. So it's about building an entire route concept around this play. We go with it one last time here, see if we can, you know, get time to throw. But it's about building a route concept around this play so that when they actually do guard it, like they double teamed it right there, you're still able to get to your next read, your tight end post, and find that open. Also, we're going to talk about timing-based catching later in this video here. And so it's like this was a great example where this is a really good coverage, but we're able to green it and make sure that we reel it in. So overall, halfback motion dig spot using this sharp corner out is going to be particularly effective for you against man coverage because it's one of the most unique and best routes in the game. But next I want to break down the best passing settings you need to make sure you're using when you're playing against man coverage. If you don't have these ones that I'm about to show you, it's going to be really hard for you to complete passes when they're in man coverage. Let me show you what those are. Alright, so we pause the game here, we come down to options, we come down to settings, we come into game options. You can also set these on the main menu, but you can also just set them in game. The ones we're going to be talking about, placement and accuracy, we're going to touch on placement and accuracy a little bit here, but placement and accuracy, reticle speed between 5 and 20, I have mine on 8. You want to set it wherever you feel comfortable, and then just practice with it and change it if needed. But I've been using 8 out of 20 for like the last 4 years since Freeform's been in the game, and it's been perfectly fine for me. But we're going to come down to timing-based catching and minimum throw distance for offense. This is a really important one. I have mine on 10 yards. You can use it on 5 or 0. I've seen people do that, guys that I respect and think are really good, and that's fine for them. And so you would just play around with it. Do you want to use 0, 5, 10? Obviously, you're watching my video on my channel, so I'm telling you what I like using, which is on 10. You just can't turn it off. Please don't think that because it's a new game, you can just play with timing-based catching off, because that's what you've been doing for all these other years. This is one of the best new features in this game, and regardless if you want to use 0, 5, 10, 20, you just need to make sure you have it on. But obviously, we're going to be talking about it on 10 yards, and we're going to be breaking down why it's so important against man coverage. So, we're going to go right back to our corner route here to Jamar Chase, for example. The reason why freeform is so important is when it's a tight window throw. We had just seen that last, play to Gesicki there in the last segment where that was a tight window throw. I was able to freeform it to get it away from the defender. But here it's like, even if it's wide open, whether it's wide open or it's tight, I need that pass to be out in front of my receiver to give me the best chance to get a good rack animation, especially if it's actually tight man coverage. But we're going to look at this one right here, where that's an example where we need to freeform it, and then we're going to make sure that we time it. Even right there, I should have put them in man coverage. Let me try that again. But we're going to see how they're going to be in man coverage here. We're going to go right back to our play, set it up the same way. This time we'll even put the tight end on a drag, just to show you how important it is to get the ball out in front of the receivers and give them the best opportunity to catch that. If that ball is behind that receiver, which is going to happen all the time, when you just press A instead of holding left trigger, it's just going to be an incomplete pass and it's going to be knocked away. So make sure that whenever you're playing against especially tight man coverage, you're free-forming the ball. So I have Jamar Chase open. I'm going to free-form it, make sure it's out in front of him, and that allows for us to catch it in stride, gives us the best chance to do that and turn that into a really positive game. Now, if they're going to run off man coverage, for example, on X right here, number 80, if we put him on a curl route, because these are really great against off man coverage, you're going to have to time this pass. In previous years, you could just throw this, catch it on the break, but now I have to make sure that I throw it and time it using timing-based catching. If you have timing-based catching off, that pass isn't going to be caught every single time, or you're not going to have control over catching it every single time. And so we go with it again right here, where you're just going to have to get it down, where all I'm doing here to time this catch is I'm going to throw the pass to X, I'm going to hold X to make sure that, I'm going to hold X to throw to him, and then I'm going to hold Y to make sure that I'm holding the possession catch, because I'm telling him I want him to aggressive catch the ball. So I'm going to throw to X, boom, then I'm going to hold Y, and then I'm going to let it go when it's in the green. Now, the closer the pass is, or as far as the defender, the amount of separation he has is what's going to determine how big of a green window you have. So if he cooks this guy on this curl route, then I'm going to have a much wider green window. But if it's tight, like it was there, the green window's smaller, and it can be harder for you to green. And if you green, you're basically guaranteeing a catch. So we go with it again right here. I throw it. The earlier you throw this curl, you see how that's a super small green window, but I was able to time it perfectly, and we're able to catch it. In previous years, that pass probably would have been dropped 50% of the time, but here you're able to guarantee that you catch it if you can green it. So again, right here, I'm pressing X to throw to him, and then I'm holding Y to tell him to aggressively catch the ball, and then I'm letting go of the Y button when it actually gets to the green, or once I see it in the green. And so then we're just able to aggressive catch it. It's a green, and so I'm able to haul it in, in a contested catching situation. So those are the two most important passing settings you need to make sure you're using. Freeform passing to give you the most control over where the ball is, and then timing-based catching on 0, 5, or 10 just makes you have it on on so that you can green every pass when it's tight and make sure that you're able to haul it in. Alright, so if you found these first 2 tips to be able to beat man coverage every single time here in Madden 27 helpful, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be breaking down Madden 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day all year long, and you don't want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your offense or defense here in Madden 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comments, join Madden University, where you're going to get access to my brand new Seahawks defensive ebook, plus all my updated offensive tips, including the ones right here in this video. Everything's fully written out for you to save on your phone during gameplay, including macros, money plays, man coverage, beating tips. It's really the best way to get better on both sides of the ball all year long, and you can use code YouTube to get 20% off for your first month. Highly recommend you check it out at the link down below in the pinned comment, and let's jump right back into the video. Alright, next I want to break down a secret pro trick that I told you guys I was going to talk about earlier in the video, and it's going to make it even easier for you to beat man coverage on every single route in the game. Let me show you. Alright, so we're going to once again come into motion, halfback, dig spot, alright, and so again, I told you guys this can work on every route in the game, but the reason why I like it particularly on this play is because this route, as I showed you earlier in the video, to Jamar Chase is already one of the best routes in the game. It's a unique route, and so what I like to do with this, regardless if I'm going to call this play, if I was going to call Seattle, for example, I'm going to take the best man-beating route I have on the field and jump the snap with that guy. And essentially, as it kind of the name says, it's going to allow that receiver to get off the line faster, and that's going to help you to be able to create more separation against man. Not a guarantee, just going to help you do that. But all we're going to do, for example, set up the same route concept right here, and I'm going to click onto Jamar Chase right here. I'm going to hold the left stick up, and then I'm pressing right trigger and A at the same time. So I'm holding left stick up. Now, you don't want to do it for like the entire play. You just want to do it right when you're about to snap, because it will eat away at his stamina, especially if you're in an actual game. But what we're going to do, hold left stick up and then press right trigger and A at the same time. Boom, that's going to allow him to jump the snap and get off the line faster. And now when he's pressed, he's going to obviously be slowed down a little bit, but jumping the snap's just going to allow him to, eat up that space and get to his spot faster. Obviously, I think that was the first time we scored a touchdown on it, and it's a lot of it has to do with because I jumped the snap. I'm able to just get off the line faster. If we just look at this, now it's subtle because he did get pressed and he did get bumped, but he's off the line faster than his teammates, and so that's going to make it easier for him to just like swim this DB off and then be able to, create enough separation for us to just throw that down the field for a touchdown. So whatever you feel your best route, your best man-beating route is on a play, you want to jump the snap on him. Obviously, it's not always just going to be the red route here. It is the red route for me, but if I thought like Gesicki's post, I wanted to make sure that he was able to create separation, right? I would just put him on the post, I would click onto him, hold left stick up, and then press right trigger and A at the same time. Boom, and you're going to see the football icon appear, and that's going to give him a better opportunity to create separation. Again, he's manned up against Minka, one of the premier safeties in this game, and so he honestly didn't do a bad job there. He was able to get open enough. I was able to time the catch. I got kind of a yellow here, but he's open enough, right? Because I used the aggressive catch, and him getting off the line faster is what, opens up room for him to be able to, get open here, because on this play, I didn't jump the snap with Chase. He got guarded, and so I need to find someone else. And so jumping the snap on Gesicki here in this case, ended up making all the difference as far as us bringing in that route. So it's only one route per play that you can do this on. You can only jump the snap on one receiver, so make sure you're using it wisely. Like, you wouldn't necessarily want to use this on T. Higgins' out route, right? Because it's like his opportunity, if he does get open, it's not that many yards anyway. Now, I mean, if they're going to use her every other route where they're going to put, zones in the field everywhere and Higgins is the only guy that you feel like could get open, then yeah, maybe you would jump the snap on him and you're able to see, he still gets guarded there because he's not really on a great man-beating route. So make sure that when you're doing this, you're using it on like tight end post, corner routes to either your tight end or your best receiver here, but not wasting the jump to snap. And I would use this on every single play that I felt like they were in man coverage. So boom, do it again. You see the football icon appear. He gets off the line faster. He creates separation. And again, timing-based catching to be able to green that catch, even though that was a pretty bad throw there by Joe Burrow, but we're still able to bring it in. So bottom line, make sure you're using the timing-based catching feature by holding left stick up and then pressing right trigger A on your best man-beating route. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful thus far and you don't want to miss out on the final 2 tips or any of the content I have for the rest of the year, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be dropping Madden 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better all year long, and I'm going to be the only one posting every day here on YouTube. So this is really the best channel to watch and take information from all year long. So what are you thinking? Go down below, hit that subscribe button today, and let's jump into those final 2 tips. Because next I want to break down the best man-beating concepts that are going to be timeless all year long to be able to beat man coverage. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we're going to see here is we're going to read, are they going to be in pressed or off man coverage? So that's all you're reading here, and then you're going to have, it's basically an if-then statement. If they're pressed like they are here on a couple of our receivers, we're throwing a mesh concept at them. So just the mesh concept, just 2 drags. Right now, I would probably put a post on maybe, RB here and do something like this. But the bottom line is, if they're pressed, you need to work the 2 drag, the mesh concept. The reason why is because it's going to be very challenging for them to be able to defend. At least one of the receivers is either just going to beat his press and get open on the drag, or bumping is going to occur and allow you to get open. So you're able to see right here, this time they actually do a good job of defending it, and so we just end up having to throw them all the way. So that's how good man coverage is. You want to try to do this actually from a bunch or a tight formation, because that's going to make it a lot easier for you to create the bumping. So I'm going to come into bunch X and FD. I mean, you could do it from that formation trips. Like on the last play, our receiver was open there, but we come back into a random man coverage play. Here we're going to have Chase, and we have Chase and we have Higgins running the 2 drag routes. They're going to cross each other, and this time you're going to see how Chase is going to be open right there, and we're able to bring that pass in. So, I mean, man coverage is good in this game. So it's like they're still going to kind of be there, but the opportunity for you to create bumping is really high. And so that's really what you're trying to get. Like you see how the guy that's guarding T. Higgins gets bumped like crazy. And so now we're able to turn, a simple 4-yard pass into a 25, 30-yard gain because we're taking advantage of, the way that their coverage just is. Like, look at this. This is already a good man-beating route. He has to recover. He gets bumped once, then he gets bumped twice, and he just has absolutely no chance of keeping up with that drag all the way across the field. So right here, I mean, you could technically run it against off, which is what they are in right here. They're in off-man coverage, but it's like if they're pressed, you certainly want to use the curl routes, right? I'm actually going to press them right here, so we'll see it, how it works when they're pressed. We're going to take this snap. We're going to see, again, same thing where, I mean, even that time Higgins got bumped, which is a reality too. Your guys can get bumped even when you're using mesh concepts because that's how man coverage is. But you are able to see how the defender once again gets bumped, and we're once again able to find our guy open, for a huge gain down the field. So that's the first thing. Reading, are they pressed or are they off? If they're pressed, then you're going to use mesh concepts. If they're off, right, we're going to use curl routes. Like we actually talked about this earlier in the video. But if they're in off-man coverage, like you see here on Jamar Chase, you call your curl route, you throw it on the break, and then you make sure that you green it, right? You want to give yourself the best opportunity to green it. Now, the better your receiver, like Jamar Chase has really high catching, so his green window is going to be a lot bigger, than if it was like number 80, like we saw earlier, where that green window was really small. So we're going to see off-man coverage again right here. We're going to throw it before he sits down. We're going to green it, and essentially, by you greening it, you're going to make sure that your receiver comes back to the ball, and you're going to give him about a 95% chance of actually bringing that pass in when you green it, which is a lot higher than what it was in previous years where it was kind of just left strictly up to ratings. But call the curl, throw it before he sits down, and green it, and then you're able to see. So the more that you do it, the easier it's going to get. But when you see man coverage, one of the easiest things that you can do, just read, are they pressed or are they off? If they're pressed, you just use 2 drags, a mesh concept. If they're off, you throw a curl route to one of your best outside receivers, catch it on the break, and make sure that you're greening it. But that 5th and final man-beating tip that I want to break down here in this video is actually the best run play to use when you're playing against man coverage. Let me show you. Alright, so we're going to come into gun bunch tight end right here, and our play is going to be halfback off tackle, alright? You want to make sure that you're first calling this one when you have your bunch tight end on the wide side of the field. But what we're going to do, take the snap, and we're trying to beat that defender or beat the guy out there to the edge. Now, what I will say with this to make it easier for you is you want to make sure that you're holding left trigger to see your block targeting. You're going to see who has who and then who has the potential to come in free. So it really looks like the only guy that could mess this play up, obviously everyone has to hold their block. If someone misses their block, it's kind of, nullified anyway. But if we can just get outside of the Mike linebacker Demario Davis, we're going to be good to go. We see how the hole opens up, and then we're able to just run right through it. So when they're in man coverage, you're going to be able to just run off tackle, and if you can seal the edge defender, Bailey, you're going to be able to get outside for a huge gain. So again, just kind of reading Demario. Where does Demario go? And that's kind of what I'm talking about, where if Ace Bailey there, if he blows up the play, then, it's just done for, right? So it's just like, that's the thing about running the ball. If we look at it this time, let's see, it looks like the outside corner is really the only guy who's going to have an impact in this play, which I'm exactly right because of the block targeting. So at that point, if you see that that outside corner is coming down, you would just have to cut it up because no one's going to block him. So it looks like the same thing here, where we're going to have to just cut it back because we don't want to run over there to the outside corner who's going to come in free. But this is going to be one of the easier plays that you can utilize when you're playing against man. Like right here, this looks like a great front to run on. It looks like we might easily be able to get out here to the edge, and we are exactly able to do that. We're able to pick up, 7 yards right there very, very easily. So I've seen this run, especially if you're playing against like mid-blitz, for example, rip off for big gains or touchdowns, but it's also like you just have to kind of just read the play and know exactly where you're going to go. So that's one of my favorite runs to utilize here against man coverage, halfback off tackle for bunch tight end. But also, if you come into trips tight end here, and this one's probably even better. So we put them in random man coverage, and we are going to come into quarterback zone. All right, so really what we're going to see is we're just going to take this snap, and a lot of the time, they're going to be aligning their defenders over there towards the trip side, right? And so that's going to allow you to just rip off a big gain with your quarterback. So we go with it again right here. We have great numbers, and our running backs can get out there, block that safety, and now we're going to be able to turn that into a first and goal opportunity, a 20-yard run. The reason why I say this one's probably better than the bunch tight end one is because you're running away from your trips versus last time you're running towards it and towards all those defenders. You're running away from it here with your quarterback here, so it's going to still, again, be about getting that edge. If you can seal the edge and prevent the defenders from being able to set the edge, that's really where you have a great opportunity. Like right here, we're going to be able to do just that, and we're going to be able to pick up nearly a first down. You're rarely going to lose yards with this play. You're pretty much always just going to be going forward and gaining yards, and if you can make that safety miss right there, you're going to be able to turn that into a lot of yards. So very simple. It's going to be all about reading the play, reading the blocks that you have, but utilizing run plays to be able to beat man coverage is going to make it a lot easier because you're not going to let them pass commit you, and you're actually going to force them to stop both the run and the pass. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of how to beat man coverage, a step-by-step guide here in Madden 27, make sure you go down below and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be breaking down Madden 27 tips and tricks just like this every single day all year long, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you're serious about transforming your offense and your defense here in Madden 27, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join Madden University, which includes my Seahawks defensive ebook, all the updated tips in this video, plus many more updated meta tips to help you win more games dropping all year long. Madden U is really the best place to get better all year long here in Madden 27, so I highly recommend you join today at the link in the pinned comment by using code YouTube to get 20% off. But if you want to see 5 tips to transform your defense here in Madden 27 to go along with these offensive ones, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.